think it's harder to be a man, just because they have huge responsibilities on them that, you know, regardless of what society says, I really feel that the man has the final say, right? You know, in the family, and you know, it's statistically proven that men die younger, that they age quicker, that they have a different wiring, so that when they don't deal with stress as well as women do. They really suffer with you know, with the responsibilities, and they grieve more. That they bear loss and bear like relationships that end. It seems to destroy men much more than it does to women. So I really think that men have a harder.
I'd say it's hard to be a man because they have a lot of responsibilities to be the head of the household and work and family time.
I mean, obviously, women don't have as many opportunities as men, and it's just, you know, you don't choose to be a woman. So it's difficult that you're just kind of born into this immediate, like, you're immediately less valuable somehow.
I think it's hard to be a woman because even though there have been a lot of things in history that allow women to have jobs and allow them to vote, I think that men were always given that opportunity. It's still something that I almost feel that as a woman it could always be taken away. So I think that it's harder to be a woman than a guy.
Okay. Is it harder to be a man or a woman?
I think that you should just be who God made you to be, so there's no real difference, but I think oftentimes people think that it's harder to be whatever they are.
Let's go with man. It's hard to be a man.
Why?
I'd say because women always, well, they're not dependent on men, I wouldn't say, but they expect a lot, and it's hard to, you know, accommodate the expectations of women.
I think they each have their unique challenges.
Yeah.
You know, I think in our society, I think it can be harder to fit in as a woman.
Okay.
But
is it harder to be a man or a woman?
Yes.
That's not a yes or no question.
Maybe. I'm going to say they are equal.
It's equally hard to be a man or a woman?
There's equal difficulty.
I have no idea. I just know this. There are 100 reasons why I'm glad I'm not a woman.
Yeah.
And I mean, I say that jokingly, but it's like they wear uncomfortable clothes. I mean, they got high heels. Who wants to walk around in high heels? They've got monthly issues that I don't want to deal with. I certainly don't want to give birth, you know. And plus the fact they have to deal with men. It's like, who wants to do that? You know? It's like, so you know, that's kind of jokingly, but again, a lot of it's cultural. Women, even in this day, it's not as bad, but they still struggle with equal pay for equal work kind of issues and all that kind of stuff. And you know, plus, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like being a man. I just can't imagine being a woman.
Yeah.
You know, I like it from just a physical standpoint and you know, strength standpoint, you know, athletic standpoint, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Not that men are better.
I think it's harder to be a woman, to be perfectly honest.
Why?
Because I think even though society's gotten better about gender roles and gender things, especially like in the workplace, women are still expected to maintain, like, they're still seen differently even if they don't want to be. They still struggle against some of the things that society set up for years and years and years. And just the work it goes through, like a woman who's strong and good at her job can sometimes be seen in a very bad light because she's, I don't know, like she's just not, she's too strong, you know, and so the men don't see her as equal, they see her as mean, and whereas a man, it'd just be like, well, that's my boss, he's allowed to be that way, you know.
Right.
So I think they struggle against those kind of views.
I would say personally, I mean, you know, my opinion is of course biased. I would say that it would be harder to be a woman, but who knows what. I mean, you know, with the whole alpha male thing going on and being the firstborn and things like that, it may be just as hard to be as a man, you know, like I said before. the whole thing with women is that women are considered weak and not able to do anything. So that's why the answer to the first question was, I have a fear of failure. Of course, men are considered to be strong and very successful, so of course they would have the same kind of fear. You know, if they fail, then they prove that they're basically not a man. I guess, in my opinion, if I fail, I prove that I'm just another stereotypical woman. So.
Okay. Is it harder to be a man or a woman?
To some degrees, I think so, because a woman is allowed to be like sensitive or whatever. But I remember once my dad told me, "Show no fear."
Show no fear.
That was his like method of being a man.
Yeah.
So